Well, hello, my fabulous friends. I hope you're doing well. Well, it's time for our predictions for 2026. Quite a few of the ones from last year came true. One of the ones I thought was the funniest was the what about the geopolitical boundaries or names or something changed? And here we have the Gulf of America versus the Gulf of Mexico. I thought that was funny. Also, we do have some land exchanges going on with the peace talks with Russia and Ukraine. So that still might play out a little bit, but that was the ones that stuck out. I did predict a lot of things. If you want to go back, I'll put the link down below and you can see how many I came close to. One of the more interesting ones, I said Arsenal would win a trophy, but it was the ladies' Arsenal team that won the trophy. So that was, sometimes they aren't zeroed in, but they're generally right. So what I did this year is I wrote up all my predictions and I put them into ChatGPT. And I asked ChatGPT, what do you think? And this is what ChatGPT had to say about my predictions. The provided text outlines a futuristic vision of the year 2026, characterized by a transition towards automated governance and self regulating systems. It predicts a world where artificial intelligence manages everything from personal wealth and spiritual guidance to the creation of individualized media landscapes. In this near future scenario, traditional institutions like nuclear diplomacy, global sports, and legal marriages undergo radical restructuring through digital innovation. Significant advancements in biotechnology and space logistics are expected to redefine the human health and environmental management. Ultimately, the source suggests that society is moving towards a multipolar global order where technology takes the lead in solving complex social and economic challenges. These predictions illustrate a shift towards a world that functions like a self driving entity, requiring less direct human intervention in daily operations. I thought that was a lot of fancy words for my predictions. So let's get started. So I did 26 predictions because we're in 2026, plus a bonus surprise prediction. All right. So, and I did them over several things. So, economy. Individual money management will be handled by autonomous wealth trusts that grow your savings across global markets without a human banker. And we can already see that. A lot of the stock buy mutual funds, that is starting to be run by AI. So I think that's going to continue to grow, especially, and that will eliminate some of the Ponzi schemes and rogue financial advisors. And I think people are going to realize they can put into AI all their different parameters, and AI will gladly help you out with that. So I think that's going to be a growing market. Governments will likely introduce smart price controls using digital currencies to instantly stop the price of food and energy from spiking. And we've already actually seen that. And it's called dynamic pricing. And I think that's going to continue to grow. And the only way to avoid it is to shop in person with cash. But what dynamic, this is absolutely like what dynamic pricing does is there's no prices on anything. They base it on your previous purchases, and they take a guesstimate using AI, your socioeconomic standing. I mean, if you buy all expensive name brand stuff all the time, they know you have a little bit more money. And if you buy no name, cheap, what's on sale, they know you're penny pinching and they'll adjust the prices accordingly. Totally not fair, totally coming in. Don't you worry about that. A massive energy metal rush will cause extreme price swings for transition metals like lithium and cobalt. I think we are going to see silver continue to go upwards until early summer, and then we're going to start to see gold start to grow after that. But the precious metals are definitely going to be top of mind this year. At least one too big to fail tech giant will face a government led reorganization similar to a public utility. I think it could be Facebook. They just had that big controversy about what it was it called? Um, Scam ads. Something might be coming in like that. It might even be AI, open AI. They're struggling as well, but a too big to fail tech giant will be government regulated. A new energy autonomy technologies like advanced geothermal power will become vital sovereign assets for nations. And the reason I picked that one is because of all the sanctions that are going on. I think we're going to see more energy autonomy so they aren't so reliant on oil coming from Russia when there's a sanction, or oil coming from Iran, there's a sanction. And I think there'll be something will come of that. Geopolitics. A major global power will likely finish pulling out of a multi-decade forever war, possibly using a risky military move in a neighboring area to cover its exit. I think this is Iran and Israel. I think there's something's going to happen that Israel, I don't know why that clicked off like that. I think Iran, like there's going to be a third party involved, and I think it's going to be Iran. A long-standing civil war will reach a final conclusion, followed by a very aggressive program to re-intergenerate the losing side. I think that's Russia and Ukraine. For sure, that's right. Oh, I don't know. Just hang on. I just realized what I did here. That's why that's on there. I think because there's going to be different land, the land is what the issue is. And when Russia gets all the land it wants, then the Ukrainians will have to reintegrate to be Russian again. There'll be a structural crisis for nuclear diplomacy, requiring world leaders to rewrite the major treaties that keep the peace. I think that is absolutely going to come into play. The nuclear, we're seeing a part of a resurgence of Cold War again, and I think that's going to have to be rewritten. Governments will turn decisively against embedded militia groups that have begun acting like states within a state. Well, that's your Antifa. That's your Antifa, your ISIS, your Hamas. That's all of those. So governments will turn against these embedded militia groups. All right. I think those are you'll start to see those go down in 2026. The world will shift to a multipolar order where a new governing body might replace or exchange the way United Nations works. I've been calling for the United Nations to end for, I think, 2 years now, and we do see it unraveling more and more. Fewer people are showing up to their functions and whatnot. And I think there's going to be a multipolar order where I say, like, the BRICS, right? And NATO. And I think we're going to see a splintering of the United Nations, and it'll be more localized. Society and digital life. Ending a marriage will become an automated process through smart digital contracts, making the legal side happen almost instantly. And for some reason, I think that's going to be driven by Islam, because you can do that. I think you say, I'm divorced 3 times or something, and you can become divorced. But I think that's also Gen Z. When they get married, you just go to ChatGPT, get a legal marriage contract, sign it digitally, and if you want a divorce, you just reverse it. Digital immigration will become common, where people live in one country but work and pay all their taxes in another. That is definitely going to continue to grow exponentially, especially when we're talking about the censorship that you're seeing in the UK, that you're seeing in Canada, that you're going to just see people, well, I'm just going to leave so I don't get thrown in jail for a mean word. Citizens will participate in government through secure global voting networks, regardless of where they are physically located. Sadly, I think that is going to happen. There already are some countries that allow that. For example, Italy, if you if you have Italian citizenship, no matter where you live, you can vote in the Italian elections. And I think something like that is going to continue as the migration, as people migrate all over the world with all these open borders, I think this is going to continue. And I think the countries that it's going to hurt are like the UK, America, Canada, because they come here, they get their dual passports or their citizenship, they go back to their third world country, and now they can vote in our elections. And you're going to see that in Canada. Social protests will move from the streets to AI coordinated digital strikes that can stop global trade in seconds, of course, right? We can already see that happening. I think we're going to see that happening more and more. And that's just your hacking and whatnot, just completely closing down global trade in seconds. Every person will likely have a personal carbon score that tracks their impact on the environment in real time. I do not want to see this coming, but I think this is coming. I guess I shouldn't have put every person. I should have said, will the personal carbon score will track your environment, is going to start to track your environment. Strict new laws will establish biological privacy rights to prevent corporations from using your personal genetic information. I think that's the fallout from the 23andMe. And like you're all of a sudden, like there's going to be some new kind of laws around that. When 23andMe went bankrupt, anybody could buy that information. I think there's definitely, and especially now, your biological privacy rights. Well, if you need your finger to open up your computer or whatever, the company that owns that is going to have to look at different laws regarding that. Celebrity and media, traditional news and streaming shows will fade as personalized AI media creates unique entertainment streams just for you. That's already happening. The algorithm on Netflix, on Prime, on Apple, that's already happening. But I think it's going to become more AI driven rather than algorithm. Shared viral moments will mostly disappear because every person will consume a different version of reality based on their own data. I think that I actually think that the more you use AI, the more AI is going to affect the algorithm, and that's why I think the viral moments will disappear, because also people are realizing a lot of these viral moments are now AI and just skipping over them. And I think by the end of 2026, we'll be so sick of AI viral moments that I think they'll mostly disappear. What I think will happen is the viral will be in the comments, not in the actual video. Okay? A new generation of digital native leaders who grew up with advanced technology will take control of the economy and the culture. So Gen Z is going to rise up. All right? Sports, men's and women's professional sport tours will likely merge into a single global entity. And I think that has all to do with the transgender issues and whatnot. I think that just like how we have like the UN now, I think we're going to have a single global entity of regulating all sports, because how come some sports have trans and some don't? Some provinces have trans, some don't, some countries, some don't. And I think there's going to be somebody's going to take control and make rules for everyone, for all sports. Historic sports dynasties are expected to dominate their respective leagues. So, for example, NFL, the Super Bowl will be a team that's at least 55 years old. The NHL, one of the original six. Oh, see, look at that. I think at FIFA in Mexico this year, I think Brazil is going to win. I think Brazil is going to win. So it's going to be dynasties, historical dynasties are going to dominate the sports this year. Racing will reach new speed milestones using top tier electric or hydrogen powered vehicles. Technology and environment, commercial space tug networks will begin operating as logistics system to move satellites and clean up space junk. There's already a big complaint, and I think there's going to be something like that you fly, that you get up there, you gather a bunch of junk and you bring it down to Earth. Or they somehow shoot it so it goes off into Never Ever Land. Computers will function as independent digital citizens that have their own legal and financial status. By the end of 2026, I think we're going to see that. Medicine will reach a milestone where bioprinted organs and programmable cells are used to fix the human body for everyone. That's your 3D printed organs. That's already a thing. And I think it's where I say the milestone is where it's going to be. Cost of it's going down. There's going to be more people that have it, and which is, to me, I hope that's good news because that'll stop organ trafficking. International climate courts will gain the power to penalize entire countries if they do not meet global planetary health standards. Notice that doesn't say climate standards, it's planetary health standards. So that's pollution. I think they all know the climate is a hoax. Everybody knows climate control is a hoax. Carbon is a hoax. And I think what it is they're going to pivot to pollution. So these nasty polluted rivers and that island of plastic in the ocean, in the Pacific Ocean, I think they're going to start to look at that man-made pollution a lot more. They're going to pivot. I think there's definitely going to be some kind of pivot. And here's the bonus prediction. Traditional religious attendance will continue to drop as people join AI-led spiritual groups that provide personalized guidance and community through online networks. Now, I did say last year, and this was one of the predictions I made that came true, that there'd be a return to tradition, traditional marriage, traditional Christianity, et cetera, et cetera. And that actually did show up. It really showed up loud and clear after what happened to Charlie Kirk. I think what's going to happen is a lot more people now they're going to think, oh, you know what, I really did enjoy my Sunday mornings, but you know what, let's do it online. Let's do Zoom religion, and we're going to do AI. And there's already a big AI, a spiritual coaching, personal coaching movement. And all that the churches have to do now is create community around that. So you put in, this week I'm having marital problems, and you get a personalized spiritual journey for the Sunday. But in the meantime, you're zoomed in and you're singing and you're listening to the pastor, but you're getting, through AI, you're getting personal spiritual. I think those online communities are really going to grow because you can get that personalized. I mean, perhaps you got laid off from your job, so you want some comfort, some spiritual comfort around that. You're sitting in the pew and the guy next to you is having, just lost his mother. Well, and yet you're there at church for the same reason. This way you can hone in with AI. It can give you Bible passages to read. It can give you advice and whatnot, but you're clued into the community that you have, a fellowship, and you also, sing some songs, and perhaps you all get along, and you make potluck, that you have your own little meal in front of you, but everybody's eating and chatting and meeting and whatnot through monster Zoom calls kind of things. And so the analogy I have for this year is think of the world in 2026 like a self-driving car. For a long time, humans had to steer, change the oil, watch the map. By 2026, the car will finally be able to drive itself, fix its own engine, and find the best route to a healthy planet without a human having to touch the steering wheel. So buckle up, I guess. Doesn't mean I agree with a lot of these things, like the carbon thing. I do not agree. The climate thing. I think some countries do need to be held accountable. I think that carbon tax, carbon capture, all of that's going to be more prominently shown as a hoax. So then they're going to change this pollution. They're always going to find a way to grab money for wealth redistribution. But I think now it's going to be planetary health standards is going to be the thing, like clean up your rivers and and you know, who's responsible for that island of plastic in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, China? That kind of thing. I don't know how they're going to, how the courts will gain the power. I mean, you can't make a country do anything. Again, just sanctions, and perhaps that's why there's that an autonomous, how, you know, your energy and that you can create in your country is yours, and nobody can do anything about it. I think that's why that's going to start to really move forward. So that's my 2026. And I just noticed all my messages were coming up. All right. Take good care. See you online. Bye for now.